Techstars, have you heard of something called Distrobox? It's basically a way for you to use many different Linux distributions inside your terminal. So it's more on the nerdy side of things, but stick with me, it is incredibly clever, and for the Steam Deck, it is really useful. Recently, a new release went up with some adjustments to allow it to run on things like SteamOS on the Steam Deck and other distributions that have an immutable OS, like Fedora Silverblue, Endless OS, and so on. The idea is that it enables you to use a container system to run a Linux distro of your choice. What you get is tight integration with the host system, so you will share your home directory, external storage, USB devices, audio, and so on. It works with terminal apps and full-blown UI apps and games as well. So for the likes of SteamOS and Steam Deck, it can give you access to a whole lot more software that simply isn't available via FlatHub in Discover or direct downloads, so the possibilities are basically endless. So here is a brief guide on getting it up and running in a basic form, installing and then running an application. Now all of the commands that I'm using will be noted in the description and a linked article, so you don't have to worry about pausing constantly and you don't have to copy from the video directly. The first two things that we need to do in terminal is install both Distrobox and podman, which it needs to use for the container system. Once you've run those two commands and you've let it run and install, what we need to do is add the paths that become available into our .bashrc file. This basically allows us to run the commands in terminal as normal. To do this is really easy. Open your home folder and unhide the contents, which will show you everything that has a dot at the start of the name. So find the .bashrc file, open it up in a text editor, and then just paste these at the bottom. Again, everything like this will be in the description. Once that's done, just save it, quit, reload your terminal, and now we are going to create an Ubuntu 2004 distro box. And once that is done, we will enter the new Ubuntu 2004 distro box that we've created. And this is where the fun begins. For the purpose of this demo, I'm going to install first neofetch just to show that it is indeed running Ubuntu right now. So sudo apt install neofetch. Once that's done, just type neofetch, hit enter, and there you have it. Steam Deck with Distrobox running Ubuntu in a container, giving you access to basically anything that Ubuntu has, with no virtual machines, no dual booting or anything like that. Now it does work with full-blown UI apps as well, although we need an extra step here to enable it to display. Back in the .bashrc file I showed you earlier, we just need to add this one extra line to the bottom, which is basically giving your local user on the deck permission to do it. Then close your terminal again, reopen, and you should be good to go for UI apps as well, as I'm going to demonstrate with my example of installing a text editor called gedit. Then I'm simply going to run gedit and just show you that it displays fine and it works. The really fun thing though is it means you can download .deb files for Ubuntu and directly install them as well. For example, here is the web browser Vivaldi being downloaded. Then I can simply run sudo apt install and actually drag the downloaded deb file from my downloads folder to the terminal, and it installs. And as you can see, I can now run Vivaldi as well. Someone actually recently complained to me on Twitter about not being able to run Vivaldi, their favourite web browser, on deck. So there you go, a fun roundabout way of doing it. So this enables you to do whatever you can possibly think of to install from Ubuntu or whatever distros you decide to install with Distrobox, giving you software that is not available on the Steam Deck from the usual methods. Hopefully you found it interesting. I thought it was really cool. There are of course masses of uses outside of my basic demos here. This is just a brief guide and showing it off. Do let me know in the comments what you think about this and if you plan to use it. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.